Brittany.
Thank you.
Brittany's going to be one of 32 authors that will be at the Spring Book Bash in April in downtown Greer at the Randall House. We've got a huge variety coming of authors and book titles and everything from various states. And Brittany, you join us from Georgia.
Yes, ma'am. I'm from the outskirts of Atlanta.
Awesome. Please tell us about the books that you'll be bringing us.
So, I will have my debut novel with me. This is the first book that I have published and the only one I have published at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
This is a young adult fantasy novel. So, it follows Linnea Wilder, who is a teenage girl who has to save her forest from a mysterious magical darkness that starts creeping in. It takes over the animal life and the plant life, and it's unlike anything they've ever seen before. So they have to enlist the help of the mages, and we learn about this wonderful nature and elemental based magic that's in the book, and it's a race against time to see if her and her younger brother can save their home.
Hmm. And so that's your debut novel. When did that actually come out? When did we publish?
So it was published in July of 2024.
Okay, so not quite a year old yet. Awesome. What plans do you have for book two or different genres?
So, book two, so this one's going to be a trilogy, and I'm actually knee deep in writing book two right now. We're hoping that it'll be out by the end of the summer.
Okay.
And that just continues the journey, and we get to see more of the magical realm and all of that.
Now, do you have plans for books other than the trilogy?
Yes, I do. I hope to. They'll probably still be young adult, maybe branching into adult fiction. But I do have. Before I started this one, I actually had this plan for like this long 5-part magical world of dragons and fantasy. You know what everybody really hopes for in a
Yep.
fantasy novel. So I think that's what's coming up after this young adult trilogy.
Ooh, so you said book two about July-ish.
Yes,
What about
hopefully.
book three?
Book three, maybe next year, maybe in 2 years. Book two is
Okay.
taking me about 2 years. I was hoping a year per book, but it's taking a little bit longer than I expected. So maybe 2028 for book three.
Awesome. So that gives them, that looked like a pretty thick book.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so it gives them time to get through the book and reread their favorite parts and
Mhm.
before they get to book two, and the same goes on to book three.
Yep.
What started you writing?
So I think what started me writing was actually just finding my favorite author when I was younger. I'm a huge Rick Riordan fan, so Percy Jackson and the Olympians, Heroes of Olympus. I'm sure most people have heard of those books, but I really found a love of the narrative and the fantasy element of being able to be taken out of the real world and just have some fun for a while. So that got me thinking about starting my own writing, and I started writing a bunch of short stories when I was younger, and I gave it up for a little bit. But when I was older, I actually had a brain injury back in 2017, and it kind of made me reimagine what life was and what was important in life. And it reminded me of that love of writing and that
Mhm.
passion for the fantasy and magic of the world. So it really got me thinking of, well, I had that much joy when I was younger, so why don't I try and bring that to somebody else? And that's my whole goal with writing, and that's why I write,
Hmm.
is I want people to feel that joy and excitement that I felt when I was younger and I found my favorite book with all of these magical creatures and fantasy elements and everything. So
It's
it's really just that passion for the fantasy.
it's always so much fun to find that favorite book that really propels you and says, "Hey, this might be fun to do my own world."
Yeah. Just the how can I help other people dive into that world?
Mhm. Expanding the fantasy universes.
Yeah,
Um,
and having that creative mindset is always good, not only for writers, but for readers as well, to be able to be creative themselves and see the world from different perspectives and all of that.
and to escape, I love that you said to escape the world, and it's like these days We really need that.
We really do. You got to have that good book that you can just open it up and nothing else matters except what's going on with that character and that adventure and their troubles.
Your microphone, I think, went out.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
there it's back.
There we go. Always the technical issues.
That's okay. So, is writing your day job, or do you have a day job?
I would say writing is my day job at the moment. I do have
Okay.
a part time job. I actually help coach the fencing teams at my local high school and middle schools. So I teach kids how to play with swords and how to actually fight,
Oh,
and just that Olympic sport of bringing that spirit of fencing. Hence why I like fantasy so much. A lot of that sword knowledge goes into my books.
that is so awesome. It, fencing in school, I went to a small town, so we did not have fencing.
It, it's
Uh,
very rare down here in the South. We're one of
okay.
only a few schools in the metro Atlanta area that do fencing. I think there's maybe 6 schools in our league.
So you probably have to travel a lot then.
Luckily, our school is one of the bigger ones, so most people have to travel to us. We have the home
Oh.
tournaments a lot of the time, so that's the benefit of the school that I coach at.
How did you get into fencing?
I I went to the activities night at my high school as a rising ninth grader, and there in the middle of the room was fencers playing with swords in the middle of the cafeteria. And I looked at my
Oh,
dad and I was like, I need to do that. I've been reading books about swords my entire life. Can I please join? And that's how I found my love of it. I fenced all throughout high school and I started interning with my coach when I graduated high school. And it's actually my husband and I, who was also on the team, who run the 2 teams now. And we've expanded to the middle schools and just try and bring this love of fencing to everyone else. A little bit of fantasy in the daily life, you know?
that is so cool. Like I've not run across someone that does fencing. I mean, you see it in the Olympic sports and everything, but it's like you just don't. At least I've never run into it on the school level. It's like,
Yeah, we hear that a lot. A lot of the time we say fencing and they're like, "Oh, what kind of fences? Wooden fences, wire fences?" It's like, "Oh, no, 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 different kind of fencing." We teach children how to stab each other with swords.
safely
Yes, safely. Very
without
safely.
injuries.
Yes.
What did you do today? Oh, we played with swords.
Yep.
So, as I was reading your bio, it also mentioned about Girl Scouts. So, how
Yes.
does Girl Scouts play into your writing? Are you still involved?
So I'm not still involved currently. I would like to be. I am still a lifetime member, but in high school I was actually part of the writing staff for the online Girl Scout magazine here in Atlanta, and that really helped me learn how to work with other people and learn how to write. I would say different genres, but different things here and there, like life events or just short stories or stuff like that. So it helped me learn some of that and get into the technological age of writing because I'm very old school and I still write by hand and do my drafts on paper and all of that.
Wow.
So that really helped. But Girl Scouts in general, I spent 8 or 9 years in Girl Scouts, and
Mm.
that really created a firm love of nature and nature conservation and experiencing the natural world as it is and just loving everything about it. And that's heavily involved in my writing. I mean, Darkness in the Forest, it's very much about the forest conservation and making sure that everything is safe and living in harmony with nature. So that heavily is involved in my writing.
Mm. So, back at your cover, did you design your cover?
I did not design this cover. I worked with a cover artist for this one. I do have an old version of my cover that I did design when I was a little baby indie author and wasn't doing anything myself. But this is the new redesign because I wanted really good cover going into book 2 and that consistency with it. So I did have a cover designer help me with this one.
Now, are you self published or small press?
I am self published.
Okay.
So I am a complete independent author, jack of all trades, do it all myself, find the beta readers, find the editors, figure out how to publish, do all of it.
Awesome. Now, do you do outlines? Are you a plotter, or would you put yourself in the pantser or
I
somewhere
am
in between?
I am very much a plotter. I cannot just sit down and write. I've got to have everything done. I've got 3 giant whiteboards that I do all of my brainstorming on. I've lost track of how many sticky notes are around my office with just, oh, here's this idea, or oh, I need to insert that in that chapter. And I spend a lot of time coming up with an actual chapter by chapter outline of my books before I sit down and draft, because I really like those complex plots where you have the little Easter eggs here and you have this thing here that no one knows about yet, but later on it makes sense. So I like to just have the chapter by chapter of I need to introduce this here, or this character needs to say this specific thing, and everything like that. I can't just sit down and write, it doesn't come to me that well.
Awesome. So you've got your husband. Do you have children, pets?
No children, but a lot of pets. We've got 2 turtles taking over the dining room. I have my service dog who is very rambunctious. He never got the memo that he's not a puppy anymore. And we have, yeah, and we have 3 cats. We just added a new cat at the end of last year, and he's a handful, but he completed the household.
Lots of pets. Do your pets
Yes.
then get put into your books?
I would hope to put some into my books in the future.
Mhm.
My service dog actually kind of inspired some of the loyalty and some of the personality of the companion wolf in my first book. So it's not a pure he was stuck into my book, but he helped inspire it a little bit.
Well, awesome. This has been so much fun, and I'm looking forward to meeting you in person at the end of April.
Yes, I'm looking forward to meeting you too.
Well, thank you, and I will see you at the end of April.
Sounds great. Thank you.